Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and welcome back to TekTopia, where today we are going to be starting our brand new village. And I am so excited for this one, let me tell you guys that. If you haven't already read what it is in the title of the video here, then you should know that we are going to be building a futuristic ocean village, which is far different to anything we've ever done before in this series. So far we've done medieval, we've got an Egyptian / Arabic village in the desert, we also have got one underground that's dwarven inspired, and then our last one, Eriduene, that we've just finished, is a fantasy elven inspired village. Futuristic is far from any of those, which is exactly why I am so excited to start this one here. And I think to kick things off, I'm going to go through all of my ideas with you. Similar to what we did last village in Eriduene, I've made a bit of a layout and overall plan of everything I want to do. So I think to kick things off here, let me show you that. So this is my village plan, and it's probably pretty obvious what's going on here. I think I've labeled everything well enough, but allow me to explain. Basically, this village is going to consist of a bunch of platforms on the surface of the ocean, each of them holding their own building with pathways to walk in between. So as you can see in the center, we have the storage building. This is going to be the largest building of them all, with the possible exception of the homes around the edge on all four sides there. But the storage is going to be absolutely massive, I can assure you that. It's also worth mentioning that the town hall is either going to be inside the storage building or underneath it, simply so we can have the actual center of the village, which is marked by the town hall icon, in the center of everything that we're going to build here. Fingers crossed it all fits in and that I have enough space for everything. I guess we will only really know when we start laying it out in the game. Let's talk about some other buildings now. So around the storage we have a smaller circle of platforms, and those are going to hold the crop area, the animal pens, the trees for the lumberjacks, the mines, the library, the kitchen and the smithy. I've done those closest to the middle as I feel they are most important to be nearest to storage. On the outer ring we have the buildings that I think will be less important when it comes to being close to the storage. For example, the school doesn't have to be nearby. The teacher and the children don't need to make trips back and forth between the storage building whilst they work, unlike the lumberjack for instance. So on the outer ring of the platforms we have the school, the merchant stall, 2 taverns, 2 barracks, all of the homes for the villagers, and then an additional smithy and kitchen. Now none of this is set in stone. We can change out what goes on these platforms as we see fit. Maybe I realise that we don't need 2 barracks. This village is probably going to be pretty safe from mobs after all, so it could be overkill. And in that case, I'll switch it out for something else. But for right now, this is what I have in mind. And I don't think I've forgotten anything, but if I have, please do let me know down in the comments. And finally, if you look closely, you will see a grey square around the inner circle. That right there is a guardian farm, or at least the outline for one that's going to be there. And that grey square is exactly why this episode has taken an extra week to come out. There wasn't one last week and I apologise for that, but I have been working on this episode for a long time, at least I'm assuming so, because we have to make an entire guardian farm. Now you may be thinking, hang on a second, guardian farms are easy to make now, you just got to get some soul sand and bubble elevate your way there. Yeah, that would be true if you're in the current version of the game. I'm not. I'm here in 1.12, meaning it's pre-aquatic update, so I don't have access to any of that and I have to do it the old school way. Funnily enough, I've not long finished making one of these in my survival series over in my vanilla Let's Play world, and that took a monumental amount of time to make, and basically what we have to do today is all of that, but in one episode. Now we're not going to be making the farm look pretty or anything like that today, we're simply going to just be getting it to a functional level, but still, we have to clear a lot of water. Basically everything I'm flying around now has to be sucked out with sponges, which means I have to place a lot of sand today, which is why if you guys can remember a few episodes ago I said I needed a lot of sand for an upcoming project. It's this one right here. So we're going to be placing a lot of sand and sponging a lot of water. So I've already gone ahead and gathered up all of that. All of these shulker boxes are full to the brim with sand blocks ready to place down, and we also have nearly 5 stacks of sponges. These took so long to get. I basically spent an entire day just raiding various Guardian temples, this one included, to get all of these sponges, simply to make the draining process a little bit easier on myself, which is actually going to begin right now. So I will probably see you in multiple days for me, but for you, one quick time lapse. Oh, buddy, we are done with that little part of the video anyway. We've still got a lot more to do before we can call this place all done. Obviously, we've got to actually take down the monument and build the farm itself, but the majority of the clearing is fully complete, and I'm super duper happy. It did take me a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. It's actually been over a week since the last time we spoke, which is much more than I thought it was going to take, but I hope it was worth it and the time-lapse was satisfying to watch. I think it was, so I hope you guys enjoyed it too. We had a pretty clean run with no issues from replay mod except from one. When I was doing the sand placing, I accidentally pressed stop recording instead of pause recording. So the time-lapse was cut a little bit short there, didn't realize until afterwards, but that's okay. Usually whenever there's big clips, replay mod crashes sometimes and I lose the footage entirely. Didn't have any of that this time, so I'm very happy. But yeah, we got it all done now, which is very awesome. And one other thing I should probably mention is the reason you didn't see some mobs during parts of that time-lapse was because the camera was just so high up in the sky and I had the FOV like super zoomed in like that. It was too far away to actually load mobs in, so it looked like I was having a nice easy time with no guardians shooting me, but that was not the case. They were harassing me lots. It wasn't too bad. I thought it was going to be worse, but I did actually brew up 3 shulker boxes full of invisibility potions, hoping to use them, and I swigged one and realized that doesn't work in this version for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, they were still shooting me even with invisibility. So if any of you know what I could use 80 invisibility potions for, let me know in the comments. So we have this stone block in the center of our area here, which I can smoothly land on. Very nice. So this is the dead center of our area that we've just cleared out here. As you can see, we got a stone block in the middle of all of these walls, and this one is in the middle of everything, which is perfect, actually. It's exactly what I wanted. But if we look down, you can see it's not in the center of the ocean monuments. Now, before you start freaking out and think it's going to be, you know, uneven and it's going to be slightly off and not symmetrical, don't worry, that was actually intentional. I don't really want to have this being built on even numbers, because if we were to make this wall even numbers and kind of revolve around the monument itself, it would mean everything we're building in this village or city, it's going to be a city, let's be honest with ourselves, will have to be built with even numbers too, meaning the pathways and the platforms and all of the buildings on those platforms. I would much prefer to build with odd numbers, so basically all I've done is 2 of these walls are expanded by an extra block, meaning they are 65 across instead of 64, and it just means it's slightly off at the moment, but as soon as we actually take this down and build the farm itself, it will be dead center in the middle of the area here and look a lot better and less infuriating than it does right now. This over here is just my little setup for now. I will obviously build something more permanent when I have a place to actually do it, but I've got all of my storage here and stuff that I brought over that I need temporarily. I got my bed and my super smelter for smelting my sponges, which I will probably just keep here again until I have a permanent place for it, because I think I'm going to need lots of glass for this village. City, it's a city. Let's try and get that in our head. But all of these chests are filled with sand, and I think I even have some more that I've dropped off just previously. And I'm curious, if we actually take a look at our statistics here, I want to see how much sand I've dug and mined and picked up and everything. So I think what I can do is, let's just go with picked up, because it's definitely going to be at the top for that one. No, it's not. Why is it not? Where's sand? Sand. Okay, why can I not see a sand block? Oh, because I'm on blocks, not items. There we go. This is the type of numbers we're looking for. So yeah, let's just order by here. And as you can see, this is our sand stat. So I have used, aka placed down, sand 60,000 times. I have mined over 100,000 sand blocks, and I've picked up over 127,000 sand blocks. And I've also dropped nearly 200. That's probably the most impressive. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting because I haven't really done much sand digging previous to this. I mean, maybe knock off a few thousand from each of these, and that would probably give you a good idea of just how much sand work has gone into everything you can see behind me there. So the next step is to actually clear the inside of the monument, because as you can see here, it's still very wet. I haven't touched this. I've basically just covered up all the holes that are actually on show. Gonna block you guys off again now. Thank you very much. Yeah, I still got all of the water inside of this entire structure. I want to get out of this area because it's filled with mobs, as you can see. But yeah, everything inside of this structure is coated in water, which needs to be sucked up with more sponges. And I've kind of had enough sponge placing today, but it's not going to be too bad in the grand scheme of things. Hopefully it won't take me that long, but yeah, gonna go grab my sponges and probably my chest plate as well, just so I got a bit of extra protection. Not going to be needing to fly much inside of there, so no use in having the elytra on. And I will be back with you when we are ready to take this monument down. Sponge efficiency. Yeah, I'm a master of that, I would say. I'm really careful with how I place my sponges down. I like to get the most out of them. I wish I could be saying that right now, but really, there is no rhyme or reason to the madness you're currently looking at. I have genuinely just gone round to the entire monument, spamming sponges all over the place, and I've ended up with this mess. But it has worked really well, I'll be honest, because this actually took like no time at all, at least not what I was thinking it was going to take. So yeah, I now have to go around and pick up all of these sponges here, and then we can finally get to taking down this monument. Oh, ghost blocks, you will forever be annoying. They are super persistent in this version of the game as well. They are everywhere. I'm here digging out my hole thinking I've got a nice clean area, and then I check the footage afterwards and I just see all of these remnants of the monument just left behind, ruining the clip, but hopefully it wasn't entirely ruined. I'll clean them up fully in a second. Let me just get this one on the floor because I can reach it. But yeah, as you can see, Well, you can't see it actually, because the monument's gone. The monument is no more, and I also just took the floor down a few levels, so we got this nice flat surface. And I think what I would like to do at some stage, definitely not today, I've had my fair share of digging, but I think I want to bring this all the way down to bedrock, and that's not actually that big of a task. As you can see, we're only on Y level 31. So let's just say 30 blocks and we're down to the lowest level of bedrock. And I'm thinking maybe I do some like normal Minecraft farms under here. I'm not really sure. That'll be saved for another day. But yeah, we're all done now. We're basically ready to start the farm, which is exciting because this has taken a long time to get to this point. But before we start any of that, I would like to share a thought or two that I had whilst digging out this entire area with you guys, and it was mainly just about the episodes that we're going to make here in this futuristic village, and that they're going to be a little bit different to what you might usually expect. And that's really just because this city, I'm going to get it eventually, guys, don't worry. This city is so different to anything we've done, meaning the video style is going to have to change as well, because if we were to do the usual thing that I would do in a TekTopia episode, where I say, hey, we're going to build this today, and then we do a time lapse, and then we're basically done. It would be the shortest episode ever, and it would get really repetitive and really quite boring. So I don't really know what we're going to do different. It's going to be a bit of an experiment. You guys are going to have to help me out, tell you what you like, and tell me what you like, and tell me what you don't like, and we'll figure things out as we go on. That's the first thing. The second thing is, these episodes are going to take a long time to make. This one especially, and even more so just in the beginning of this city project, because it's just a massive project and every episode is going to require a huge amount of time, more so than I usually would have given a TekTopia episode during a week of video making time. Obviously, TekTopia isn't my only series. I make other videos as well, and I plan on keeping it that way. And I'm just giving you a heads up, I don't think I'm going to be able to keep up with 100% weekly episodes all the time. I think most of the time I'll be able to get an episode out for you guys each week, but there may just be one here or there that I miss. I don't know how frequent it will be, but as I say always, just follow me on Twitter or join my Discord server and I can let you know that way. But yeah, they're going to take a long time to make, and I don't always have the time to do it. I'll try order things and work it out so that if there is a missed episode, there will be like a survival one instead, for instance. But yeah, those are my two thoughts. Hope that's okay. I don't really know what else to say. It's just what I was thinking. Anyway, the next thing to do is to figure out a Guardian farm design. Now, I'm not going to design it myself because, well, that's just asking for disaster. I'm instead going to have a look around on the tubes and see if I can find a tutorial that's suited for 1.12. I've got one in mind. If I can't find anything different, it's just the same as what I used in my survival series. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and build up the Guardian farm. We're not going to time-lapse it or anything. I'm just going to do all of this off camera because, well, let's be honest, we've had enough time-lapses today. I don't think there's anything wrong with a good old-fashioned jump cut. Or a seamless transition, or at least I hope so, otherwise I'm probably looking like a fool right now. But anyway, as you can see, the farm is now done, with the exception of breaking that dirt at the top there to let the water actually flow on down, and the sorting system and storage area is very much so temporary. We'll set up something a lot bigger and better than this in the next coming episodes. But yeah, this right here is the farm, and basically once we break those dirt blocks, as I said, that water is going to flow on down to the fence gates and stop there, and that's where most of the guardians will spawn, and then they'll fall into the lava that's just above all of the hoppers right there, as you can see, and they will die and their drops will be collected. Super simple. This is actually a design from Wattles. It's the one I used in my survival series. I've obviously had to make a couple of alterations with this one because we're building on even numbers. We're building with odd, his were with even, so I just had to modify it ever so slightly to suit my needs. But yeah, we've got it all done now, and I think what we're going to do is actually just break all of this dirt and then maybe do a real quick 10-15 minute AFK session and have a look at some of the drops. 15 minutes later and we're ready to check on the drops. Now I should probably go down there pretty quick because the farm is still powering away and going crazy and we want to get an accurate result here. So let's head down to our double chest, make sure there's no mobs around, which there are. Let's get rid of Creeper Face and Zombie Boy over there and maybe that big boy back there just so he doesn't come and attack us. Holy moly. Would you look at that? That is so many guardians. Very loud, but kind of awesome to see because, I mean, you guys know, a lot of work has gone into that right there. So I'm excited to see what drops we got here. So this is 15 minutes worth plus a couple of extra maybe. That's really good actually. I am super duper happy with that. Gotta check my back here because it is getting dark. But yeah, that I could make over a stack of sea lanterns with just for 15 minutes. So times all of this by 4. I don't know how this got in here. Times all of that by 4 and that is what we get for an hour's AFK session. So basically 2 double chests full of drops. That is really cool. My temporary AFK platform is all the way up in the sky here, by the way, because it's actually stopping mob spawning down at the bottom. So as you can see, the guardians are all still able to spawn in the farm, and with the exception of slimes, because for whatever instance they don't really pay attention to this rule, but when you're 128 blocks away from a hostile mob, they actually despawn, meaning there's not going to be any down there on the surface, nor below down in the caves, which basically just makes the Guardian farm super duper efficient with me not really having to light up anything down below, which is awesome. Now, something I probably should mention as to why we've actually built this, because I don't think I did. It's because, oh my goodness, so many mobs. It's because I need sea lanterns for this city that we're going to be building. Light sources are of course very helpful in Minecraft, especially in TekTopia. And I do really think the only type of light sources that we're going to be able to use with a block palette that's somewhat like this, we'll probably talk more about the overall block palette next episode by the way, but the only ones that's really going to go with it are sea lanterns and end rods, and as we know from Arduino, end rods cause problems with the villagers, so I'm going to try to stay away from them, and this really is the whole purpose I built the Guardian farm, just for sea lanterns. Don't really care about the other stuff that it drops, to be honest. But then again, that's probably the main reason most people build a Guardian farm, I would say. The other stuff is good, but sea lanterns are just super helpful. So we have a bit of a problem with the farm at the top here. I can actually be shot by the Guardians if there were more here because, well, there's no ceiling on it. And we're going to leave it like this for today and put one on it next episode, because the ceiling that's going to go on top of this farm is actually going to be the platform for the storage that is built on top of it. Basically, all of the platforms in our city here are going to be on this Y level, 64, which is one above the ocean surface there. So I can't really cover this up because the storage needs to be built directly on top of this block right here. So I will, as I said, save it till next episode or the one after, whenever we start building the storage. I'm not sure when that's going to be, probably fairly soon. I'm thinking next episode we might just focus on making all of this look pretty, because right now it's kind of a travesty. It's super ugly and I want to change it up. So yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to that next episode and the entire city project. Let me know what your thoughts are. Again, any ideas, just chuck them down in the comments. I'm open to it all. Thank you as always for doing that. I really hope you're excited and I will see you next episode. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.